Hi, everyone. I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm here today with Chloe Guidry, who portrays the chillingly damaged Josephine Bell in the eight-part Hulu true crime limited series Under the Bridge that premiered April 17th and co-stars Oscar nominee Lily Gladstone and Riley Keough. The series is based on the 2005 book of the same name by the late Rebecca Godfrey, tells the heartbreaking story of the real-life 1997 murder of Rena Verk, a 14-year-old Canadian girl in British Columbia whose South Asian roots led to her being discriminated against, targeted, bullied, and ultimately killed. Chloe, your character, Josephine, is a kind of sociopathic teen who's also a delinquent and toxic bully. How does a nice girl from Louisiana prepare for such a dark, sinister role as this one?
Of course. I mean, it was definitely hard. I mean, it was some long hours, some long research to be able to do this. Before I got the role, I really wanted to dive into it. And Josephine is such a layered and complex character. So even just going into this, I really wanted to have a good understanding of every single aspect of her. I, researched the book and I wrote down everything that, really resonated with me. And then I went and I made it my own. And, we had a lot of rehearsals before we started shooting, and we had a lot of versions that we came up to. We had like 1.0 Joe and then 2.0, and just really trying to find which version fit the best for the show. But I love psychological aspects of things, and I really wanted to know, why these kids did the things that they did. And I feel like Joe definitely had a huge take in it, and I really wanted to, dive into Josephine, and I'm so glad that I got to be able to do that.
Did you read Rebecca Godfrey's book and study up on sociopathic behavior before you took the role?
Definitely, definitely. I really wanted to portray it the best that I could and really have a real showing of what it's like in every detail that went into the show and every detail that went into, why this murder happened, and getting the justice for Rena was really important to me. So I felt like I needed to, dive into and research the best that I can to be able to do that.
You are so good and so convincing in this series, Chloe.
Thank
You had me a little scared coming into this interview. Seriously, Josephine has this casual sense of cruelty and menace that had me completely spooked. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You and the camera have a powerful chemistry.
Thank you.
Um, if you can get inside your character's head, where did this nastiness come from? I mean, there are a lot of adolescent girls in the foster care system who don't become malicious beasts.
Hmm. Definitely. I feel like really, taking the aspect of what she went in before she went to the foster care system and everything that partook before that, and why she wanted to be in the foster care system. She wanted to not have any adult telling her what to do, and she wanted to look up to those awful beings because in real life she didn't have a good mother, she didn't have a father. So, she looked up to things that put her out of an escape for reality. And I feel like um she really wanted to, get out of where she was, but she knew the actions that she was doing. She knew the consequences that were going to happen with that. And I feel like she just took her anger out and violence on people that didn't deserve it whatsoever. But it just became, it was just a fantasy to her, and it wasn't real to her. It was just, oh, I'm just going to do this and I have no consequences. But outside, and I feel like as the show goes on and how she grows, she definitely realizes she does have consequences to her actions.
But you think she was a little delusional going? I mean, the real life Josephine in terms of the killing of Rena and everything. Do you think she was kind of delusional going in? Yeah, that she real honestly didn't think that was just a game they were playing and that none of this was really going to stick.
Definitely. I feel like she just thought of Rena as another person. I mean, she obviously saw the love and the care that Rena's family gave to her, and that Joe didn't have that, so she wanted to betray that. But in full, she didn't think that someone would die from it. She just wanted to do these actions because it made her feel good. It made her feel like power that she always wanted to have, and so it was a delusion to her. It wasn't a fantasy that if she did all these things, she would be able to get out of the reality she was living in, and that just wasn't real. It wasn't going to happen.
While you were shooting this, was it ever tough to drop Josephine and go back to being Chloe?
No, because in my real life, I didn't want to be anything like her in any aspect. And you know, how I treated people just on set, or I mean out of set, just how you treat everybody. I'd never want to make someone feel the way that Joe made people feel, and I would never want to do that. So I dropped that as quick as I could. But yeah.
What was it like working with Riley Keough and your other co-stars? It seemed like everybody really had there was a similar vibe to everything, you know, and just
Really.
the way it was shot, the way it was acted, uh, the cinematography, everything just kind of clicked beautifully. And
Yeah.
but you don't have that, you don't have any of that unless you have chemistry among your performers.
Definitely. And I feel like I had such great chemistry. I mean, with Riley and Lily, we had so many great scenes, and you know, one with me and Riley, where Riley betrays Joe, or what she thinks is that she's not going to go to New York, and then there's some more coming up with Cam, and it just there was such a connection that I felt between both of them, and we could really feed off of each other, and I feel like that's so important when you want to portray such a deep show like this, that you need to have that good chemistry, because it definitely reads. But I felt like with both of them, I mean, they were just such genuine and comforting people that when you went into it, it was just welcoming space that you know you could really just click on your character and lock in. And I feel like we definitely did that. I mean, and just besides that, they were such kind people to work with.
Have you ever encountered any kind of not similar, but some kind of prejudice among, you know, back home where you are in Louisiana, you know, where
Yeah,
you've seen how people of different ethnic groups and minorities are treated? Because I imagine, you know, I imagine from where you are is pretty pretty Caucasian, although I don't know that for a fact. I mean, have you had a lot of interaction with people of different ethnic groups and seen how they're treated?
yeah, not really around here. I mean, honestly, around here we're all like a family, and I know that's weird saying that, but I mean it really is. We're all local. We all come from we all I mean we're all just I don't even know how to say it, but we're all just a family. And I feel like there's definitely bullying that goes along, but I feel like that goes along with, you know, every teenage person. I mean, we all go through it at some point, and you definitely see that. And I feel like with this show, I really wanted to get the awareness out there that um to treat people, everyone, with kindness. And I feel like it's so important, and it's so it's so important. I mean, just have compassion for each other, and just know that you're there for people that are going through this. And if you see it's happening, like, give them support so that they don't feel like this. And I mean, it's a real thing, and I feel like the awareness needed to be brought to it.
But you're right that there's bullying at every level and at every, you know, in every school, in every situation. There are just people that's the way they're wired. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, have have you gone to actual school, Chloe, or mostly been educated on sets with studio teachers? One reason I ask is my wife is actually a studio teacher.
I go to school every day. When I was in Canada, I did online for about 5 months. But I mean, I'm in a high school. I'm a junior, and yeah, I go to school every day.
And you went to middle school as well.
I did, yeah.
So I was gonna actually congratulate you on being able to bypass middle school if you did, but it sounds like you didn't. That you
No.
actually uh, because boy, it sure I just remember I don't know how middle school was for you, but I just remember middle school as being a very difficult time. That you
Definitely.
know they're that you know people that no offense intended, but people aren't really quite human yet. You know, they're still kind of figuring out how to be human beings and
Definitely.
the way they treat each other. I mean, did you find that it was just a lot of clicks and a lot of popularity stuff and difficulty fitting in?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a growing period, middle school and high school at the same time. You just have people trying to find who they are, and people can be mean. Girls can be mean, boys can be mean. I mean, everybody can be mean, but I feel like, especially with this show, like it's just so real to me, because you see people going through this. And you know, if you've gone through this, I mean, at some point, like, you just want to be there for people that are going through this, and you don't want them to feel alone, and you don't want them to feel how Rena felt, like she had to fit in. Because at the end of the day, you need to find who you are, and that's where you're going to be most happy with yourself. And you know, having that family and knowing that your family is there for you is so important.
So is your instinct in reality in your life, Chloe, to kind of gravitate to people that maybe are being rejected or bullied and to kind of try to be there and reassure them and help them?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like everyone, I mean, no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, you deserve respect and you deserve kindness. Everybody needs kindness in their life.
You don't seem to have much of a Southern accent despite growing up in Louisiana. Is that just your natural voice, Chloe, or is it something you've worked on?
I've worked on it. I used to be more country, but I mean, when I did this, I did dialect coaching for like probably about a month, maybe. So that really helped, but I don't have much of it anymore.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had a dialect coach, though, to get the British Columbia vocal
Yes.
cadence right. I don't even know what that vocal cadence is, but it's you very you don't notice any of that with you. I mean, it sounds very natural too. So whoever you worked with did a great job.
She was very good.
But one thing I thought of, just to get back to the show for a second, Chloe, for some reason I just always imagined that in Canada it was different. That people, that you didn't have as many clicks, you didn't have as much bullying, that it was just a lot sweeter people and a lot easier situations. And this was kind of this show and this whole story, the reality of it was a little bit eye-opening that, we in the United States, we don't know that things can be just as harsh and just as difficult up in Canada. Were you surprised by that too?
Yeah, I mean, it shows you that everywhere there's always someone that can be hurting, and there's always a horrible experience that can happen. And just, obviously, just bringing it back to this, like everyone just deserves kindness. And it is so important because it ranges from every aspect out there. It's all over the world. And I feel like, we're all human beings. We all deserve that kindness. And I mean, this show definitely shows that. And it is eye opening, like you said.
So you've been acting now for roughly a decade or so, right? From what I've read.
Yes,
Um, what sort of sacrifices did your family have to make for your career?
Yeah, I mean, my family, they have truly been so amazing to me. I couldn't ask for a better support system. I mean, my mom has been with me through every single thing that I've gone through, and missing other things for my brothers because I do have two older brothers, and you know, whatever, like they've gone through high school, so missing those fundamental parts of high school they had to miss, and family aspects and teenage aspects that you miss, but you just sacrifice because you love the business and you love acting. And that was definitely what I've gone through. And, missing my family, missing my dad because he has to work here too. So, just, I mean, when you're filming something for so long in a different country, it can be so lonely. And, but I'm so thankful that I had my mom, and been incredible through everything.
It helps to have such supportive parents like that. This has always been, though, it sounds like from the time you were 6 or 7, completely your idea. You weren't in any way pushed into this.
Oh,
this is you loving acting and wanting to do this.
definitely. That's my mom was like, Chloe, this is your business. This is your career. Whatever you want to do, you can do with it. Well, we're not going to push anything. I mean, this is fully yours. So they've just been amazing through that.
There's a lot of rejection. I don't need to tell you in this business. You've got to have a really thick skin, because that's one thing that people who aren't involved in acting don't understand is that you don't just step into it and immediately you get work and you're a star and then you get cast for everything. You got to have
Yeah.
a really thick skin because there's so much rejection. How have you handled that whole idea of 80% or 90% of the things you go out for you don't get?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard, and you definitely have to learn how to take that rejection and put it in a place where it's like, okay, this isn't meant for me. This isn't meant for my career. I wasn't supposed to get this because there's something that's going to be better for my career or better for me. And I feel like nobody really sees those late hours that you put in, working until 3 o'clock in the morning and going to school the next day or work. I mean, nobody sees that, but I feel like when you love something so much and when you're in a career like this and you really have a passion for acting, it's all worth it because you know that your hard work is going to pay off one day. And you know all the sacrifices and the things that you go through and all the rejection that you go through is just it helps you grow as a person. It helps you grow because this business is so hard. It helps you really just take all that in and just know that to never give up. Like if you I mean obviously, like if you keep going for your dreams and if you keep going for your passion, you will succeed, and whatever's meant for you, it's gonna come to you.
That's a great attitude to have. And so you've never gotten down, you lost confidence or gotten down on yourself from any of that. It sounds like.
I mean, there's been a few times, definitely. I mean, when you're right up right up to that role and it's between you and another person, it can hurt really bad. But just taking that sadness and just applying it to, working harder and just perfecting your craft is so important to me. And just, ultimately knowing that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And it's just, if it's not supposed to be a role, it's not going to be a role, and there's going to be a better one for you.
Have you been treated any? I mean, I guess you wouldn't know how to be regularly treated. Have you been treated differently in school because of, you know, being so out there as a, as a budding star in television now and other projects?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
not really. I mean, honestly, I mean, it is scary when you come back and then your show comes out and you don't know how people are going to take it. But everyone from around here has truly just been so kind and supportive. They've supported me. They've shared everything. I mean, my school, my dance studio, my singing studio, they've just been so amazing through it. And everyone from around here has just been so kind with it.
are you planning to go to college and study theater arts there?
I think I'm planning on going to college, but I'm thinking I'm going to study like business or marketing or something like that. But
Oh, good for
yeah,
you.
thank you.
You mean just as is that because you want to get into business or just have something to fall back on in case the whole acting thing doesn't work out as well as you're hoping?
Because I maybe want to create my own business in this industry, and having that acting, but also having another side thing of working my own business and doing acting at the same time. I really idolize just people that are able to do that in this career, and I would hope to do that one day.
What kind of business would you be thinking about? Do you want to sell stuff? Would you ever want to be an agent? Anything like that? No.
Maybe maybe not too much of like selling stuff, but making my own like mentorship, or just helping young actors be able to do this, and just maybe having a studio and maybe working with films. And I feel like that's one thing that I would really love to do.
What's the best thing for you about being an actor? And what was I mean? What would you say Under the Bridge was the most fun you've had, despite that? Although it's hard to imagine fun given the heaviness of the material, but was that the most fun you've had?
It's definitely been the most growing, I would say, the most growing part in my whole acting career. I mean, going to a different country is really hard to do, especially when it's your first time. But you know, acting, you get to step into someone else's shoes, and you get to experience someone else's life and what they go through, and it's an eye-opening experience to know that everyone ultimately goes through the same thing, and that you can relate to each other no matter how hard or how lively they are. I mean, there's just all aspects of it, and I just really feel like stepping into other people's shoes are just it's so interesting to me, and I love this psychological, and I love studying it. Like just that has just really drawn me into acting.
Well, you're a very talented performer, and it's been wonderful talking to you. We're going to leave things there. Under the Bridge premieres new episodes every Wednesday through May 29th. Chloe Guidry, best of luck to you this Emmy season and in your career going forward. Also, happy early 17th birthday. Uh,
Thanks. I
and
appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thanks for joining us at Gold Derby.
Perfect. Thank you.